747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Steph Curry, you had a magical run with Klay Thompson. The Warriors dynasty, immaculate. But let's not get to lying.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube. Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. Tuesday here on ESPN 1063. Excuse me, that's the espresso talking right there. Get caught up on my words. Theo Dorsey right here. C-Cat on the ones and twos. We are theoretically speaking with you. By the way, that espresso I just had from the coffee machine, I ain't gonna lie, C-Cat, I feel absolutely disgusting. We're gonna get into the Warriors dynasty talk and how Steph is saying it's unrepeatable. What they did will never be done again, which I think is just getting caught up in the moment, which I get it. You're in your fields. Your best friend, who you played with for 13 years, is now leaving the Bay and heading to Dallas to chase rings. But, man, that I did something, C-Cat, just now in the office right before the show in these 5-6 minutes before we got here on air that I do feel absolutely disgusted with myself with. Like, I thought I was above this, but given the amount of time I had left to get ready for the show and get up here and talk, as well as the fact that I really needed the energy, I pulled a cup. From our our company kitchen. I went over there and I put it under the coffee machine. I hit my double espresso. Actually hit a couple more strength points on it to give me a little more burst on this Tuesday afternoon. And then after the coffee was done pouring, I picked up that cup to start drinking said espresso. It smelled amazing, by the way. Always does from that coffee machine. And I realized that cup was a little dirty, was a little dingy. Didn't look like it got washed out all the way before I grabbed it to fill it up with my espresso. But I only had like a few minutes left before this thing was going to get started, and the espresso was smelling really good, and I needed the energy. So, I mean, what do you think I did?
Did you sip before you realized it was dirty?
I didn't. I hadn't sipped it yet. I looked. When I picked it up from the cup, because I looked, I'm like, man, this is a little more espresso than usual. And I looked in the cup, and there was like a little dinginess all over the rim on one side. There was like solid waste on the outside of the opposite side of the rim that I did not sip from, like a little leftover.
That cup.
And the what was that your cup?
I started to chew tobacco, and that's just, yeah. So that's what that was. My bad, man.
You dirty dog. First the pig beach from last week, now you're out here ruining all the cups.
That's on me.
It's disgusting, right? Like, it's repulsive. I don't necessarily do that. If I have more time, I would have washed the cup out and got a new cup, and I know this is not riveting radio, but it's also not as disgusting as what I saw this past weekend from Florida Panthers fans. And yes, for the second time, I'm going to criticize the Florida Panthers this time directly and not just the fans for your drinking habits, because I finally saw in action something that I thought was just a myth, something that I thought was something y'all made up here in the office, because here at ESPN West Palm, a lot of us come from different backgrounds, and C-Cat and a couple other of my teammates here were teaching me about this thing called a shoey. Shoey. And I said, what the hell is a shoey? And C-Cat, can you explain what a shoey is?
I forget where it came from. Might be Australian, might be New Zealand, but essentially it's taking your shoe off of either your right or your left foot. It doesn't matter. Maybe after a long day of partying, maybe after a long day of work.
Yeah.
Taking the beer that's in your hand, pouring it into said shoe, and then drinking the beer out of the shoe. That's what a shoey is.
That is an arrestable offense. I think that should be a felony at least a couple states.
What's your problem with it?
It's disgusting. Number one, there's bacteria all in your shoe. It's dirty. Your feet been in it all day. You're sweating. It's literally like everything that you've been through throughout the day that you've endured that's poured off your body literally just trickles down. It's gravity, and it soaks right into maybe the most filthy part of your body, which is your feet, and then through your socks, and it permeates through your shoe. And then you're going to take beer and pour it in your shoe and drink it. I saw Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers themselves, on the parade in a day in Fort Lauderdale where it was raining. It was pouring raining, drinking shoeys. And I ultimately lost respect for the Panthers. I'm glad that half of them left in free agency now, and also I'm glad that the rain happened on the parade. It's absolutely disgusting, repulsive behavior.
Disclaimer, I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be a scientist, but honestly, a belief I've had for a long time is that most germs are like a figment of our imaginations. Like, I don't think germs actually exist. I feel like if you can see it and that's dirty, it is dirty, but if it's not visibly dirty, I don't think there's germs on that thing. I think that's a scare tactic.
C-Cat, this is another perfect example of two Americas. You just said germs don't exist, and you're willing to do shoeies. And also, you're going to sit there and let a dude pour beer from a second-floor balcony into your mouth. And all of that, all of those things that you agree to, and where you draw the line is when I say things like a horse apiece, or what was it yesterday that you didn't agree with?
I forget. It goes too many dimensions.
It's always like it was something small, something very minute, but you're cool with a shoey. That's absolutely disgusting, and it's behavior that should not be repeated. And speaking of things being repeated or repeatable, Stephen Curry, who is now still with the Golden State Warriors, who is looking to start something anew now that what they did in Golden State, that dynasty that they had, that run that they had that was so magical from the early 2010s up until that 2022 championship. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. It all ended yesterday when Klay Thompson took the 3-year deal, $50 million to go to the Dallas Mavericks, and Steph Curry finally released his statement, his public message to Klay Thompson, his brother, on the way out the door, and it reads as such: "Gonna miss you, Klay Thompson. Even though we won't finish the journey together, what we did will never be done again. Couldn't have imagined a better run with you and Draymond Green." There's more to it, but I want to focus on that first part of the statement right there. Stephen Curry saying, what we did will never be done again. And what did the Golden State Warriors do in that run together, which was something that did it was something we all enjoyed as a nation, watching a jump shooting team do something, break barriers, change the game in a way that we probably won't see again generationally. What Steph Curry meant to the NBA was amazing. But in Golden State, they won 4 championships in 8 seasons. I don't know if that's the kind of run in the NBA you can say is unrepeatable, something that won't be done again. And though it was something that was done in a fashion that we might not see similarly, right? Like we have not seen something like that before, the way that they hit the scene, Curry and Klay shooting it from 30-plus feet, like they changed the way that I see AAU games being played. Caitlin Clark, the saga that she is, probably isn't sparked in the same way if it wasn't for the way that Steph Curry came out there and revolutionized the game. But never to be done again, to me, is absolutely ridiculous, and it's being a prisoner of the moment, right? I do appreciate what they gave to the game. I wouldn't call it unrepeatable. But then it got me thinking about what is a run in sports, especially in modern sports history, that does feel like it won't happen again, like it's unique in a fashion to where I would say that right there, cherish it while it's happening, and when we reflect back on it, we will never see that be repeated again. And I think the one person I think about is likely listening here in Palm Beach County, and that's Tiger Woods and his run as the #1 golfer from 99 to 04. Like, that's a run that I don't think we'll see ever matched in the game of golf. And there's a couple runs going on right now that might be on the precipice of starting something like that, but I think that's something that I know that I can double down on. I can say for sure, 10 toes to the ground, Tiger Woods has an unrepeatable run. That dynasty the Warriors had, more than repeatable. 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. What run in sports have you witnessed? Have you watched? It felt so inevitable. It felt so remarkable that you would say that run is unrepeatable. Hit us up on the Baptist Health hotline, 888-760-3776. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. Now, I was always one of those that was in support of the Warriors dynasty. I remember the year that Golden State actually got the sweep with Kevin Durant over the Cleveland Cavaliers. I was running around a bar with a broom in my hand just to more so, any chance to taunt Cleveland sports fans. I'm all over that, so I enjoyed that game, that year, that series thoroughly. But to call this Warriors run unrepeatable, I think is taking it a step too far here. You see, Kat, you watch that from afar as a fan, and I know you're not as much of a basketball buff, but what you saw from the Golden State Warriors, would you say we wouldn't be able to see that in your lifetime again?
No, in fact, we saw something that was less repeatable at the same time in the same sport, in the same league.
Wow.
LeBron James going to 8 consecutive NBA Finals is less repeatable, if you would, from 2011 to 2018. That's harder to do than winning 4 finals in 8 years.
Especially, you're right, it's the same number of years, right? Same span, and especially given the fact that LeBron did it while switching teams in the same conference, right? And then when he switched from one team to the other one went from first to worst. Like, LeBron James's dynastic run in the East and the way that he ran the show, clearly less repeatable than what we saw out of Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green with the Golden State Warriors. And also, it felt way more inevitable. Before every single NBA season started, how did we pick who was going to be in the finals in the East? Where's LeBron? Where's
Exactly.
6? And it happened every single time. The Warriors kind of had that uphill climb. They had a different kind of struggle in the battle. There was a lot of doubt on the front end and on the back end. Even in 2022, that title snuck up on us. We thought the dynasty was already over with. But no, I like that call. LeBron James running the Eastern Conference, and we enjoyed a bit of that run here in South Florida with the Miami Heat. 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. What run in sports would you consider to be unrepeatable, and do you think the Golden State Warriors dynasty can be defined as such, as Steph Curry defined it in his message to Klay Thompson, his splash brother on the way out the door? And I do want to say, when it comes to Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, right, it is sad to see them split. They maybe have one of the better nicknames in modern sports as well. Like, we've done a terrible job as sports fans, as sports media, and as people around this, this whole ecosystem of giving out nicknames, not just to teams, but to individual players or tandems. And Splash Bros was something that carried. It was natural. It felt good. It perfectly immortalized what they were known for and good at, and that was raining threes. Like, it also was a good callback to the Super Smash Bros. Video game. Like,
you could take that to your home court when you're running twos. Like, hey, we're the Splash Bros. Ooh. We're both hitting threes. Look at us, just like Steph and Klay.
Steph and Klay. Now that's something that's unrepeatable. It's a name that was so fitting and also so splashy, so unique. The Splash Bros. I rock with that. We might have to talk some traditional or some nicknames going forward here on Theoretically Speaking, because I'm excited about that one. I need people to get better at it. Ant-Man for Anthony Edwards, not going to cut it. Like Patrick Mahomes, how many people are we going to call Magic? How many people are going to call Magic? That's Irvin Johnson's nickname. They try to use that for Patrick Mahomes and for Luka Doncic. Like, give that one a rest. No more Magics. Nobody's allowed to be Magic going forward. That's my new rule when it comes to nicknames. Man, my number one rule right now when it comes to improving my golf game, C-Cat.
What's that?
I mean, that's going to the Kaiser University flagship campus, kicking it with the coaches.
They're right here, right?
Right here in West Palm Beach. Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser Golf Coaching Center is where you want to be at if you want to tune it up. I don't care if you're working on your putter, your irons, your wedge. And for me, I mean, I could always use some help on that driver, striking that thing clean. And the good thing about the Kaiser Golf Coaching Center, indoor and outdoor facilities, right now you can't count on the weather to do anything in your favor. Literally every time we leave the house, I have a retractable awning. I'm like, okay, let's just put it down. Because it could rain, it could be a flash rain at any point, and that could ruin a golf lesson. Think about these Florida sunshines that we have, and then you get the rain that pours through, and you don't know when it's going to stop. You don't know how heavy it's going to be and for how long. That's a good thing that they have a 2,000 square foot indoor facility with 3 different hitting bays, great ball flight technology. Your coach able to show you exactly where you can change your swing up, show you on the video replay so that you're not repeating the same mistakes. We're talking repeatable runs in sports. You don't want repeatable errors. You want to be able to tune that stuff up, fix that. That's what you can do at the Kaiser Golf Coaching Center. KaiserGolfCenter.com. KaiserGolfCenter.com. It's right off of I-95 in the Turnpike in the heart of West Palm Beach. Tune up your golf game. Train like a pro with the champions at the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. A man who is a Palm Beach County Sports Hall of Famer and a very, very helpful guy when it comes to just getting some perspective on some of these moves, especially in the NBA. He stays locked in as our Uncle Steve Pollitt Sr. He's going to join us next. And we're going to do a get around, but this time we're going to go through off-season moves in the NBA, get a little perspective on those, see where his head's at with that. And particularly, there is a major contract in the National Basketball Association that I get that it's not an overpay because you kind of have to do it. But I think, 5 years from now, we're going to be looking back on it like maybe we did overreact a little bit. That's CCAT. I'm Theo Dorsey. It's a Tuesday on Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800